Well, hello, it's the 100th video. Can you believe it? There's been 100 of these build videos. We're up to about 177 subscribers now, and looking at the analytics, I have quite a unique base of viewers, as you can tell from the analytics, which I'm showing you on the screen now. I did ask for questions on one of my posts, and I only got one, and it was about the wing, and I do actually have the wing. It's here. And it's quite a nice wing as well. It does seem to be made of carbon fibre or some kind of fibrous material, and it is adjustable as well, which I've only just noticed. I've not really mounted the wing, and there's a specific reason why. So you can see the rear structure of the car is held on and screwed on here, and the wing is also mounted here by this piece and this piece. Now, if I push down on this point where this structure has been created and goes down to the bottom of the chassis, you can see I can push the car down, but if I push down on where the wing would be mounted, this part bends and nothing happens. So adding the wing isn't going to do anything to this car at the moment until we strengthen this structure. So here's the list of things we need to do. There's a list of wants and a list of needs. Number one there, we need to do a fuel filler overspill. We need to do the RPM counter. I need to do an overflow, catch tank for the oil, breather. I need to do the prop shaft restraints. Unfortunately, I forgot to put the prop shaft restraints in, even though I remembered to put bracketry in to mount the prop shaft restraints. I need to do the bulkhead sealing as well, for the driver compartment. So that's going to be quite a big job. And I need to sort out the clutch, which I think is slave cylinder related. I've also got these Weller wheels, which should fit the front. I've got some classic mini Revolites as well for the rear, so I need to test fit them as well. And if those work, then we've got at least a set of rims for wets. Well, there's no apparent leakage down there, which is good. And I'm going to take the plugs out and just have a look-see. Well, the plugs all looking in reasonable condition. The next is the oil dipstick there. It's a bit dark in colour, but nothing to be concerned about. Jacking this car up has always been a problem because my jack is so short, but I've gone and bought a very expensive long one. So hopefully that means I have no more jacking issues. And then it even has a little stop there so it can't come off, and a pin for the main bar. Sweet. You can see we've lost quite a bit of front splitter from the test. I will replace this with plywood eventually, but I think for the first race we're going to stiffen the spring so it doesn't ground out as much, and then replace it later. So everything looks good on this side, just checking over the bolts, nothing's come loose. Okay, so unfortunately these springs are not going to fit on the collar because they're a bit narrow inside, so I'm going to have to order some more. New springs have arrived, going up from £300 to £800, and like magic they're changed. Not grinding on the floor now, are we? One of the next jobs we need to do is fill all these holes in the driver compartment. For example, that, which would probably be a bit more challenging, but we'll see what we can do. But before that, I think we're going to have to look at this clutch. You can see the clutch slave cylinder here, and the clutch action's actually very good, but it's just the return of the slave cylinder. You can see this is definitely sees that should easily go back, and this one doesn't. And the gunkiness is real. That is nasty. The boot has split, unfortunately. What I think's happened with this, because this was only replaced a couple of years ago and it's not been used much, I think the clutch action has been too long on the pedal, and it's just pushed this out and caused it to hook here, and that's ripped the rubber boot off. So I'm going to try and limit the clutch action. I've cut one of these. I'm going to push it onto the master cylinder for the clutch, and hopefully that will limit the movement a little bit. So you can see in here quite clearly the prop shaft restraint bracket I welded in. I put one in over here, but in the regs it does say you only need, well, it's a recommendation, it should rather than must, but according to some of the drivers it's a really good idea to have one just in case the prop shaft does come apart. So it says it must be made out of 18 gauge steel or 1.2 mil, so I'm going to go with this 1.2 mil steel. Let's cut it out and bend it and put it on. Something like this. Okay, so I need to trim it a bit, but that's looking good. The prop shaft restraint mount, we've got another one here, and this is all steel as well back here. And then we've got the prop shaft restraint itself, so the driver should be fairly well protected in case of prop shaft failure. I've stopped these moving. This one still moves, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a rib of tape, of duct tape, and then tape that in so it can't move. Okay, so these pieces now need to fit back into there. I know they're really horrible. I am going to do a better job of this at some point, but not for this weekend. It's all buttoned back together now. The next job is a overspill container and drain for the fuel tank. Basically that needs to be popped on top. I've already started to drill a hole. I popped on top with a little tube to drain any excess fuel away. So I've got this little rubber sort of cup and this little tube which I can connect a bit of fuel tube to and allow it to drain if there's any fuel overspill. Okay, so I've trimmed this back a bit. I've got the little tube connector which I can push in here. Oh, that's worked out quite nicely, look. There we go. That should do the job. A little hole there in the diffuser. Next job is the oil overflow catch tank. So I've got this 15mm hose that my subconscious has been telling me isn't going to fit, and lo and behold, that is not going to go over that. So I've just run to Wix and got myself a tube of washing machine tube. It's perfect. So that goes on quite nicely, and I've located the catch tank down here. Next job is to mount the Micron 4, which is going to be acting as RPM indicator and lap timing duty as well. It looks like that is going to be the best location there. So I've drilled the holes for the bracket that I've made. Let's rivet that on. All 4 clecos have gone in. I need to cover up these cockpit holes that long one there, that one there, and that one there. Hole number 1. So I've roughly shaped this piece of metal just to avoid the column so it can go underneath here like this. I might not put this bit in and wait till Thruxton. It's a bit naughty, I know, but we'll be okay. We've got the back one here.
Well, that's it, we're done. We're ready to race. I wouldn't call it well prepared, and I've got a bit of a tidy up job to do, but the next time you'll see me is at Donington. The goal of Donington isn't really to win or do well, it's just to finish. So we're going to treat it like a bit of a test session. But yeah, if we can finish, then we can start on making the car better.